Junior. The lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deep fake.
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. Oh, no wait. I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
You can see the face, but not the heart of those who want to do you wrong. So many times.
Bless up. This is Christopher Martin. Human trafficking is a crime. Let's unite to end human trafficking. Be wise, open your eyes, spot them, stop them, and report them.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
No shadow at the dark. No shadow at the dark.
The new location for Rich's Big Deal Store in Falmouth, Trelawney is 15 Duke Street. This is where you get the best for less when it comes to school bags, uniform material, khaki pants and shirts, and much more. Remember, it's always a bargain at Rich's Big Deal Store in Falmouth. New location, 15 Duke Street. Open Mondays to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 876-954-3827 or 876-772-7799. It's the little store in Falmouth, 15 Duke Street with the big bargain.
Hungry for real Caribbean flavor? Then head over to Spicy Dutch Pot, your destination for elevated Caribbean dining in Montego Bay. From tasty breakfast to delicious lunch and satisfying dinner, every dish is packed with bold flavor. Visit us at the City Center Shopping Mall, Montego Bay. Downstairs, first entrance from Bottom Road or the Boulevard. Call or WhatsApp 876-333-4336. Follow us on Instagram at Spicy Dutch JA. Spicy Dutch Pot. Open every day. Come taste the flavor.
Total
You're listening to More FM 91.7 on your dial.
Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers through the power of inclusion. We highlight the incredible abilities and achievements of the disabled throughout Jamaica through our extraordinary talent exposure, mentoring, and uplifting corner with your host Tracy-Ann Williams and the radical Robert Blake. This and every Monday at 5 to 6 p.m. on 491.7 FM. Call us at 876-610. Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Disability Beyond Borders. This is More 91.7 FM. I'm Tracy Smith Williams. Hello, Mr. Blake. How are you doing?
I am doing great, and a pleasant good evening to one and all. We do hope that everyone is having a fabulous day. It's a beautiful day on this side of the island, especially in St. James, Montego Bay, Jamaica, to be exact. We've been getting some cool breeze, and every now and again, we're getting a little sprinkles of showers. But just in case you are just joining us for the first time, this is Disability Beyond Border on the one and only community radio station called More 91.7, where we normally drive strong community energy. And of course, it's the first beautiful Monday in the wonderful month of August. And guess what? It feels great now that we passed 2 holidays already. And the reality is that for those of us who understand the level of emancipation and then independence. And of course, I want to say kudos to those persons who would have received some form of award during the independence celebration right here in St. James. And it's
Are you referring to yourself, Mr. Blake?
Say that again?
Are you referring to yourself?
Not at all, not yet.
Oh, wait, no. You have already gotten that award.
Yes, that should have been of the past.
You're going for the one in Kingston, right?
Well, that was good, but we do have a special lady from the Kiwanis
That's
that
right.
also received, and another special lady from the St. James combined, and I'll call them by name so persons can know, and we're bigging them up because they always give us the support. So St. James combined right here in Montego Bay, Miss Tamika Williams, yes, man, she has received an award, and of course, we are proud of her. She's our PRO or secretary, trust me, you name it, and the list goes on and on. And of course, she's from a beautiful community all the way up there. It's called the Community of Peace. And in tourism, she has been doing very well, and through that, she has received an award. Another very special lady now, this lady wears many hats. So she would be what we call BLG. And then through Red Cross, again, she would be the person that is actually in charge. And I'm going to refer to this lady as Miss Colleen Lawson Taylor. And that alone should tell you exactly who these two ladies are. And of course, the other recipient, but those two persons we know personally, and they're very much behind us as persons living with disability. And they have made their mark and their contribution. And of course, if my memory serves me correct, last year, this time too, we're going to refer to her as Auntie Dana, or better yet, we're going to call her Lady D. Last year, this time, she too would have been a recipient, of course, of an award that was given right here. So, you know, we continue to celebrate. We believe in being loyal. We believe in being patriotic. We believe in being faithful, and just continue to serve and do what you do best, because this is how Jamaica build. This is how we build a community. This is how we look out for our children and each and every one that is coming. We do have a lot in store for you this evening. And of course, without any further ado, I'm going to see if we're able to locate our lawyer. And this is the segment that we call the Disability Act and Me. What is it that you and I need to know as persons living with disability? How does the act apply to it? How does the bill apply to us? What are our rights as persons living with disability? What is it that we need to do? And how is it that we can ensure that we are following protocol and doing exactly what the law is requiring of us? And of course, without any further ado, we are going to allow Sir Anthony Williams, the lawyer that definitely helped us out and cover this segment. In 1 minute, we'll have him on.
All right. So you heard it from Mr. Blake about the awardees who got their Great Spirit of Independence Award from the Mayor of Montego Bay. And we also
Absolutely.
want to add our quote of congratulations to them as well. Over to you, Mr. Blake.
Thank you very much. And of course, we have Sir Williams with us, and he will telling us what is it that we as persons with disability need to know about our rights, and what does the act say, what does the bill say. Over to you, Lawyer Williams, and welcome again to Disability Beyond Border on More 91.7, where we drive strong community energy. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Sir Robert, and greetings and good afternoon to your listeners to the number one station in the West. I would like to speak to your audience on Section 31 and Section 30 and Section 29 of the Disabilities Act. Let me start with Section 31. Now, Section 31 really deals with persons who are working, they are in good health, they have good strength, and for some reason or the other, they may become a disability person. Now, health and strength is very, very important. So there are persons who have no disability whatsoever when they got the job, but whilst working, they become a disabled person or have some disability, whether arising from the job or performing the job or outside of the job. It could be a motor vehicle accident, it could be something at home, could be something on the road, could be at a public event or something. And what does the act say? Section 31 says where an employee That is, anyone who is employed to an organization or a firm or a company has become disabled. Now, the important word is has become disabled. So this represents somebody who is already working with an organization. They have never been disabled, or at the time when they were being employed, they were not disabled. But something happened and they eventually become disabled. The Act says where an employee has become disabled, whether by virtue of his employment, in other words, arising from the doing the job, or otherwise, and that employee is no longer capable of executing or carrying out the job of the task or the function required by his contract of employment, insofar as there's no disproportionate or undue burden, then the employer have a legal duty to redeploy the employee to a position that is commensurate with the current skills and abilities of the employee. In other words, if someone is working with an organization, they were not disabled, but for some reason an incident occurred or an accident occurred, either on the job or off the job, the law says that employer cannot just simply fire or dismiss or terminate the services of the employee like that. So we need persons to understand that if you become disabled or have a disability whilst working, then your employer or employers, please note, you can't just terminate or rescind or cancel the contract of employment of your employee. The law says you must take steps to redeploy them. In other words, put them into another job position, another job task. But even when you redeploy them, then it must be commensurate with their skills and their abilities. So if somebody has a university degree or a master's degree, or they were skilled in a particular area, yes, and they were doing, for example, computer and things, you can't put them out to go to clean the bathroom or something less menial. So redeployment means that you must reposition them, but commensurate with their abilities, their skill, and their competence. And also, they must not lose the remuneration that they were being paid. So it must not result in loss of remuneration and benefit to the employee. So you can't give them less pay. And Section 31 is very, very, very important. Okay? Very important. So we want...
Question, sir, Sir Williams. In this case, right, let's say they put you in a totally different position because you may not have the skill set and they reduce the money. Is there any measure or where do we go? Who do we talk to now in a situation like this? Because we might not even have the money now to go and employ a lawyer, right? So what do we do regarding that?
There is the disabilities
tribunal.
The tribunal, yes, there is the council. There's a council that is set up under the Act, okay? The council is set up under the Act as a tribunal, so the person with disability can go there, okay? They can also engage the services of an attorney, all right?
But you know, sometimes when I have the money, we are develop a disability.
Yes, they can go to the tribunal, okay?
Right, but do you think legal aid could help us in this case?
Well, legal aid can help, a lawyer can help, and the Disabilities Rights Tribunal, which is established under the Act, can help. So one of the first places they should go to is the Disabilities Rights Tribunal, which is set up under the Act. That is the best organization to go to, okay? And they now can channel it from there. But we want persons to understand that if they become ill, or if they become disabled, right, as a result of something on the job. It could be a machine that caused you to be disabled. It could be a slip and fall. It could be anything. It could be a ceiling fan that drop on your head. and cause you to be disabled. Or it could be a motor vehicle accident on the road. It could be something at your home. You went to the beach, you went to the park, you went to the stadium, and something happened that caused you to be a disability person. The law says you cannot just simply terminate or rescind or bring an end to that person's contract. You must redeploy that person. And when you redeploy them, it must be commensurate with their current skills, their competence, their qualifications. You can't just go put them into a menial job. And their salary must not be less or lesser than what they were.
Let me put another question to you, Sir Williams, right? I am a driver for a company, right? So I was driving and then I met in an accident, and through that accident, I now becomes a person with a disability while I was on the job, right? No, unfortunately, because of the kind of employment, right? There's no other area somewhat that I might have a skill set for. Can I then, as the recipient, in this case, take what you call a pay up for my years of service in this case, or would I still have to go through the tribunal system?
Well, the tribunal only comes into the picture if there is some breach of
there's discrepancy.
Only if there's a breach. But what it says, as well, is that as long as it does not become an undue burden to the employer or is disproportionate, right? So it's not something automatic. The employer have to wait out. If it doesn't create an undue burden or there's no disproportionate burden, then the employer must redeploy the employee. So if the person was a driver, for example, and they become a disability or disabled, then obviously you cannot put that person as a driver. You may want to put that person at a computer desk or any other job, which is befitting based on their qualification, skill set, competence, and so forth. Okay, right? So the disability tribunal only comes into the picture if there are issues relating to a breach of that contract or the employer.
So let me create a bridge right here. Right, Sir Williams, they don't give me enough money. So let's say I work with them for these 7 years, but then also give me a little change over the counter. Let me use it that way. So we don't put a figure to it. So they're not really giving me the right amount of money that I really think I should get based upon my pay and all of that. Would at that case, no, I get the tribunal involved, even though
that is correct, because it will be a fundamental breach of Section 31, subsection B, because the section says that the employer must not pay the employee a lesser sum than what they used to get. So the moment they start to serve for you and pay you a lesser sum, then that is a breach, right? The act says the employer must put you in a similar position in terms of no loss of remuneration, and not only loss of remuneration, but benefits. Benefits. Suppose you are getting uniform allowance, traveling allowance, rental allowance, whatever allowances that you are getting, your vacation leave, your maternity leave, all benefits that you're entitled to. The act says that you must not lose those as well. Suppose you're on a health insurance policy or a life insurance policy or a group plan, or you're entitled to lunch allowance. Any allowances that you're entitled to or benefits, they must remain. Once there are going to be changes, then that's where the lawyer comes into the picture. That's where the tribunal comes into the picture. All right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I was going on to Section 29, but I think I will just stop at 31 because I've given a mouthful, right? And then the next time we'll go to Section 29.
All right. Thank you very much. Of course, it was a very fruitful discussion. But how can persons contact you?
Well,
those who are listening,
I'm listening in the directory at USIM Williams and Company, and my telephone number is 876-473-6275. That's 473-6275, and my firm name is USIM Williams and Company. All right?
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Williams. And there you hear it under the Disability Act and me. What is it that you and I need to know? And as he was covering from Section 30 and Section 29, it's just a simple scenario. If you are able-bodied and you're working, and for whatever the reason is, true to be told, you may have developed a disability, or a disability may have occurred while you're doing whatever you're doing. In truth, is you really has a right as a person who didn't have any disability, but of course, after a period of time, develop a disability, you still has a right. So, of course, we're just making sure that we educate you, empower you, and again, we normally say that knowledge is power. Now, let's see what our doctor, again, Dr. Williams, now I guess this evening we're working with the Williams, because guess what? My engineer is Mrs. Williams. Let's hear what Doc has to say to us.
Not a problem, Mr. Blake. All over to Dr. Williams. We hope she has quite a mouthful to share with us this evening, as usual. So, Dr. Williams, take it away. Over to you.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Yachel Samuels Williams from Life Pack Wellness Center, and today we'll be talking about chicken pox. So, chicken pox is quite common here in Jamaica, and recently I have seen a couple cases, and I think it would be most fitting for us to talk about that today. So, chicken pox is also known as varicella zoster. So that's a fancy name, but we all know it as chickenpox. And what it is a contagious illness that is caused by the varicella zoster virus. And it causes you to have red spots. So you'll have water bumps or blisters, or some people call those vesicles. You can have scabs or just spots over the body. And what you notice with the rash, it usually has rashes at different stages. So some might be red spots, some might be scabs, some might be blisters, but they're usually in different stages. And when they heal, they usually heal without leaving a scar, usually. Okay? Chickenpox, as I said, is very, very contagious. And so you want to be careful if you see someone with chickenpox, or if they have something that looks like chickenpox, then you very much want to stay far from them, because it's something that you can get. For chickenpox, the incubation period is 10 to 21 days, meaning that you can go in contact with somebody who has chickenpox, and it takes you within 10 days to 3 weeks before you actually show symptoms. So it doesn't mean that you're going to show symptoms at the same time. So you do have to be careful. Chickenpox is usually spread through the air, so it's spread through respiratory droplets, or it can also be spread by touching the blisters or the vesicles. So those are the water bumps. If you touch them, or the fluid from them touches you, or just by being in close proximity to the person who's infected and the respiratory droplets come across in the air to you, then you can get infected with it. Usually, as I said, it presents with the spots and the rash. However, 1 to 2 days before the rash, you might find that you feel a little bit sick. So you might be having fever, there might be a bit of tiredness, there might be headache, you could lose your appetite, or even feel a little bit nauseous. The rash, when it comes on, is usually very itchy. So that's one of the things about it. Usually very, very, very itchy. Right? For chickenpox, the rashes will stay usually for maybe around 4 to 7 days. However, there might be persons who can have it a bit longer. So we'll talk about that very shortly. Chickenpox is usually noted more in children who are less than 10 years old. However, it can affect anyone at any age. What we realize, though, is that if you get chickenpox in adults, or in chickenpox in somebody who's immunocompromised. So immunocompromised persons are persons who don't have a very strong immune system. For example, those with HIV, persons with lupus, persons who are on certain medications that suppress the immune system, persons who are doing chemotherapy, for example. So if you are immunocompromised, or if you're an adult, then we find that the symptoms of chickenpox usually are more severe. So you would tend to have a more widespread rash, and it's usually a case where this chickenpox can cause more serious symptoms. So you might find that it can affect different areas of the body. It can affect the nervous system, it can cause a pneumonia, or it can lead to other problems. But usually it affects kids, and usually for kids it tends to be mild or it doesn't give as severe symptoms, right? So for chickenpox, what we'll try not to scratch them, because remember what I said earlier is that it's spread through the fluid that comes out of the blisters. So you try not to scratch it so that it's less contagious, and also it normally heals without a scar. So we don't want you to try and scratch it and cut yourself and then you leave scars where the blisters are. Okay? Also, if you have chickenpox, try not to use any aspirin either, or any products that contain aspirin, because that can cause some interaction with the virus and lead to more serious problems. Luckily for us, here in Jamaica and across the world, they've started to do vaccination for chickenpox. So because we know that is something that affects a lot of people in Jamaica, we encourage you to go out and get vaccinated for chickenpox. So this is something you can come, even here at Life Pack Wellness Center, we do our varicella or chickenpox vaccine. For those persons who are vaccinated, it's less likely that you can contract chickenpox, but it's not impossible for you to get it, but it's less likely. And what you'll find with the persons who are vaccinated is that the rashes tend not to crust. So usually you'll have the rashes going from stages where you have the red bumps, you have the water bumps, and then after a while you see them getting dry and crusted. For those who are vaccinated, you may not see the crust. So that's something very important to note. And so you know that it's contagious until no new rashes are formed in 24 hours. For those persons who are not vaccinated, you usually get that crust formation, and it's usually not contagious after everything has crusted. So that's the difference with those who are vaccinated and those who are not vaccinated. All right? Also to note, for persons who have contracted chickenpox already, chickenpox gives you a risk of getting something called shingles in the future. And shingles is something I've spoken about before on this show. And you'll know that shingles is very painful and it's something that nobody wants. So if you've had chickenpox, then please find out from your doctor about the shingles vaccine, especially if you are older, especially if you are immunocompromised, then the shingles vaccine can be very useful for you. Again, we do that here at Life Pack Wellness Center. So that's a little bit about chickenpox. Try and understand it and know that it's something contagious, it's something that's around, so you try and be as careful as possible. So that's it for me this week. This is Dr. Yachel Samuels Williams. I am from Life Pack Wellness Center, and we are located at 92 Barnett Street in Montego Bay, upstairs J&J Pharmacy on the 4th floor, and we're also located at 18 Mullines Road, Kingston 10 on Belrose Plaza. You may call us at 876-582-2829 or 876-326-8071. You can reach us on Facebook at Life Pack Wellness or on Instagram at lifepack_wellness. Have a very, very good afternoon.
Much, Dr. Williams, for such inspiring words. You really blessed our hearts with a lot of information there about chickenpox and how we can do our best to prevent that from happening. All right, so we're going for a quick break, and you are tuned to Disability Beyond Borders. This is More 91.7 FM, the station that drives strong community energy. We'll be back in a jiffy.
You're listening to More FM 91.7 on your dial.
Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers through the power of inclusion. We highlight the incredible abilities and achievements of the disabled throughout Jamaica through our extraordinary talent exposure, mentoring, and uplifting corner with your host Tracy-Ann Williams and the radical Robert Blake. This and every Monday at 5 to 6 p.m. on More 91.7 FM. Call us at 876-610-8104. That's 876-610-8104. Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers.
Purchase your tracks today.
Welcome back to Disability Beyond Borders. This is more 91.7 FM. I know it's back to school and there are a lot of stuff happening. We need to ensure that our students or educators or parents are all going to be getting ready for school. But Mr. Simpson may have something else to empower us this evening. Mr. Simpson, welcome to the Upliftment and Empowerment session. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Williams. I'm doing well.
Okay, I'm glad
And
you're okay, my
I hope that everybody is doing the same.
Yes, sir. We are.
Great, great. No, I like the fact that you started by giving recognition to the fact that the back to school season is now at its peak.
Yes, sir. It's definitely downtown is
Yes.
buzzing. But the
Great,
pockets are
sorry.
buzzing too.
That is it. And this is when parents are to get even smarter in terms of what to buy, what not to buy yet.
That is
I'm not saying it ought not to be bought, but
Prioritize.
sometimes all the books prioritized might not be needed. No.
Right.
So if you go back to a couple of sessions that we had in July on back to school, then you can remember some of those little tidbits to assist you in terms of making smart decisions as it relates to shopping for your children, going back to school or beginning school. Those little babies that are going out.
Right.
Yes, so have to prepare for them too. But let's see if we want to talk a little on the issue of religion. Now, it's a touchy topic, and nobody forces an individual. Well, it happens in Jamaica, not in the developed world. But in the developed world, they don't necessarily force people to go to church, force people to believe in our God. However, I think it is an important thing for Jamaican parents and children to continue leaning on our Creator. And that is my motivation to us this evening, to always remember what is above, who is above. Look at what is happening around us, and we can make a lot of decisions as to, we don't see the trees walking around, we get water, we get everything. So if that level of kindness can be given to us, despite us not even deserving it, I would say, then we in return can return kindness to each other. We can be kind to each other. Good. And we take bits and pieces of scriptures from the Bible to validate how kind we can be. Here, why we should be kind, why we should be friendly, peaceful, good, and being good steward of our environment. Steward is an individual who takes care of something. When you look at the story of Jesus and what all the struggles that he went through on earth, good, and he is still kind. Great. So even somebody rub us hard tomorrow, my friends, we can still be kind. We can look at it in a different way. Good. We can say, okay, we're going to make that go today. I remember what Jesus did, what Jesus went through, because we have to look back on the past to help us to move forward to the present, to the future rather. Though simply it may sound, though ridiculous, it may sound. And I know we may think that radio has better things to do than for us to motivate ourselves by looking at the Bible and look how we can shape our life. But we very much know that the church has a role to play in the society, and that role fundamentally is to instill discipline and morality in us as a people. It's not being endorsed heavily elsewhere, but it is endorsed heavily in Jamaica, and that is a part of the reason why we have certain things going in our favor still. So my friends, if that is if all that patience is given to us by the Almighty, then why can't we extend some patience, some love, some peace, some meekness to those who are around you, to those who you can see every day? What is your motivation? Where are you going to take your motivation from? How can you be empowered? I remember having a discussion with a listener. I think it may have been on Saturday. I don't quote, I don't remember. And the issue came up, and he said, Council, you need to touch on that one. You need to touch on it because something happened and I did that. And this is the strategy I used, despite how hurt I was when the person did something and said something. But I remember, and I renege on some of the challenges that Jesus went through, and said, if Jesus did it, I might can't do it as perfect as him, but at least it's an example for me to show love, for me to help somebody, for me to forgive. And you know what he said to me that was very important, and I embraced this thought for years now. Forgiveness is for me. It's not for you. It's for me. So when something happened and I can look beyond it, it makes me comfortable. It gives me a light heart. And that is my motivation to all of us this evening. Let us look back and what others have gone through and what Jesus have gone through and use those examples to live our lives or to assist in shaping how we respond to the different stimuli in our environment. Because if we don't, then guess what? We're not going to have a society. We're not going to have a future. And that's not what we want. We want to have our society, and we want for persons to be looking in the future and to be making decisions that are meaningful to all of us. So, my friend, please be empowered, be motivated, and remember, look back to look forward. Thank you.
Awesome. Look back to look forward. I love that punchline, Mr. Simpson. Awesome indeed.
Great.
Is that one that you coined on your own? Is that from the Simpsons?
No, I coined it as a part of the presentation in terms of how I structured it.
Yes.
So, yes.
I love that one. I love that one.
Great.
All right. Thank you so
Great.
much. It was great hearing from you this evening, and we look forward to another presentation next week.
Great.
All
Thank you. No
right.
problem.
All
Great.
right. Awesome, Mr. Simpson. So, Mr. Simpson, they're sharing with us this evening about how we can be empowered, stay empowered, and keep on doing what we have to do. Don't really focus on what's happening in the past, but let us move forward, and you'll be surprised the things that you're able to accomplish. All right. So if you're just tuning in, we thank you for staying tuned and we welcome you to More 91.7 FM. This is a station that drives strong community energy, and you are in the session of Disability Beyond Borders. And this is where we look at persons who have different disabilities they're living with. It may be an intellectual disability. It can be maybe you're visually impaired. It can be a physical disability, something that you can see. Whereas you have some disabilities, they're not able to actually see the disability itself. All right. But we have persons who have championed the realm of being PWDs, persons living with disabilities. And we're going to be talking with one of those champions this evening who has conquered what persons have to say. They have conquered the naysayers. And I take this opportunity of welcoming one of our specialists, and I call him the IT specialist. They call him Congo. Good evening to you, Mr. Rose. How are you?
Hey, good evening. It is so refreshing to actually hear a female voice. I could talk until 7 o'clock.
You know what? I'm going to blame Mr. Blake for that, you know. So I'm going to blame Mr. Blake for that. How are you, sir?
How are you?
I am great. It's great on this side of the island. How about yours?
Hot.
Well, I'm sitting in the AC, so I don't know what's happening on the outside. So I'll leave that until another time. But
oh gosh,
we have to just cope with what we have, and thank God for the rain and the overcast that we're getting now. So hope your side gets a little bit of that.
Let's hope.
All right. So I know you and Mr. Blake have been toying a lot with the new technologies that are in place just to make sure that persons with disability, their lives are more accessible and they're able to function normally, and also to overcome different challenges. So what's new for the Technology Corner this week?
So this week I want to talk about something for the Windows people who use Windows computer. We have an app now that you can actually type your text and turn it into audio. It's called Sonar Pad. Now, yes. So you can actually, So you can actually either import your text or you can type it within the app. Then you can generate speech by choosing a voice, and you have multiple voices to choose from. You can get English voice, you can get American voices, you can get African voices, you can get Indian voices, you can get Irish voices. I'm waiting for the update with the Jamaican voices. Right? So you generate your text, you type your text, and then you go into the voice profile and you choose the voice you want, and you can generate the text. And if you like what you hear, then you can export it as an MP3 or a WAV file.
So not all of us are tech savvy as you are, and all in the technology world. So when you say this is compatible with Windows user, you're talking about someone who has a PC.
Definitely.
Personal computer, all right? So like a laptop.
Definitely. A laptop, a desktop.
Yeah? All right? And does it have to be any type? I know some persons will have a Windows, maybe Windows 10 or Windows 7. Which of the Windows operating system it can work with though?
It says it can work with Windows 7, 10, or 11.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to change your notes to audio, then you have the opportunity to do this. How about if you're in what if you're in a meeting and you record a meeting? Can it change it to the Word though?
Yeah, I think so. I think it can. I need to explore that side of it. I see it there, but I haven't explored it yet. But I think it can.
All right. Okay. All right. What else you have in store for us?
So, I know that a lot of us, persons, go to school or their teachers or, just have some notes. And you can now turn your notes into podcasts. Now, Google is offering a service called Notebook. And within Notebook, you can turn, so if let's say you have some notes that, you develop for a class or something, but in order to get your students to understand, let's say your students are auditory learners, they learn by listening to audio or stuff like that. You can actually put that note into Notebook and it generates a podcast about 12 or 13 minutes long with two persons discussing the notes as if, they wrote it, right? So, of course, these are AI voice, but they are conversating as if, they had them notes and they're just having a conversation around it. And trust me, it's very good. It's very enlightening. You can create little quizzes and stuff also within the notebook. So it's actually, you can actually go to the website and upload the text and generate the podcast, and it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to generate, and then you have your full podcast, and you can download and share with the persons around you.
Boy, this is making life so much easier.
So much easier.
So much easier. So nobody should say that they are not able to have enough knowledge. Nobody should be ignorant, right? Because there's so many tools that you can use to be informed, to stay informed, to keep up to date. And you know what? Use them to get a little bit more rest, eh? So
definitely,
why not?
Definitely.
Why not use them?
I agree with you so much. And the thing is, all of these things, especially for the blind and visually impaired community, all of these softwares, they work well with your screen reader, because when they are developing these things, they have to test it because of the accessibility law in the states, right? They have to make sure that these things are compatible with screen readers, so that blind and visually impaired persons are not left behind.
That's true.
So,
I agree.
yes, man. So, we in that same breath, I would like to also encourage website and product developers in Jamaica to also make their websites and products accessible also, because blind persons will want to use your products. We are productive just like anybody else, and we want to use the technology that is out there.
That's a good one.
Yes, so we want to encourage those here in Jamaica to also make your products accessible to us.
That's true. For just out of the box though, moving aside from the street, there's something that's popped in my mind. For persons who may have like a business card and they want to distribute it to someone who is maybe visually impaired or so, is there an organization in Jamaica that can get the braille on those business cards, or some form of link or so that you can tap on, or you can use a screen reader to get it? Is Jamaica at that pace as yet?
So here at the Jamaica Society for the Blind, where I work, we actually can do the braille, right? In terms of the business card, now I know if you do it in a PDF format with the link, the blind person, person may be able to tap on that link and access the information. So definitely, we are probably not fully there yet, but every other month or every 2 weeks, another piece of technology comes out. So we are able to access the information. So even if you take a picture of that business card and send to me, I can use one of the apps that I have and read that information. Right? Either might be my eyes or my seeing AI or Envision AI, no matter which one, I can use them and extract the information from that card.
Okay. I noticed that you mentioned that you have access to these apps. How accessible are these apps, given or made readily available to persons within different areas, different parishes or so, and is there any training that is done to make sure that persons within the disabled community can have access to these different apps?
Well, these apps are very accessible. The only thing is most of them require internet service.
Okay.
So yes, so when we send the image to the app, it has to send it to a server to extract the information and return it to us. So it requires internet service. In terms of training, the Jamaica Society for the Blind, we do offer phone training, but as you know, funding is a hell of a thing.
We know you can make that happen, Mr. Rose. That is not an issue for you. Come on now.
For me?
Yeah, that's not an issue. Come on, Mr. Rose. You got that covered.
Somebody tell you I won the lotto?
Well, I'm speaking it into
Yeah, but definitely this is something we're thinking about, just going out doing workshops, getting persons to use their devices, because a lot of blind and visually impaired persons are sitting down with these smartphones only making calls when you can know what is around you. They have a powerful tool, but all they do is sit down and make calls while they could be seen through the eyes of their camera, if you understand what I mean.
Okay.
So we are really thinking about going around doing workshops to get more blind persons in tune with their devices.
All right. So you know what? I'm going to put you on the spot, Mr. Rose. So we are going to work with you to get that going, Mr. Rose. So we want to have one of those workshops going. If even we branch off into other parts, but we need to get this information out so that more persons can become more independent as it concerns to maneuvering their way around town, getting information done, and this will also help them in terms of getting, because some of them are very into what is happening on their devices. Some of them can even use it as a means of gaining employment, right? So we want to make sure that if they're put in a place where they can use their device, they have the knowledge of what to do, then this tool will help them to move further. So that's where I want to take it, Mr. Rose. So I'm going to put you on the challenge, put you to it. Mr. Rose, it can happen, and we're going to make it happen. And for persons who are listening, you want to jump on board and assist us with the funding, please feel free to call Mr. Rose or call More FM and let us get this started. So we are going to put that in place, Mr. Rose.
Not a problem. I am up for it. I'm up for it. I would love to see every blind and visually impaired person able to use their device to its full capacity. That's my dream.
All right. Awesome. So we told you that technology is taking us further and further, and we want to use it to empower persons, right? All right. You know that we normally give you a little extra time, so this is your extra 1 minute. Take it away, Mr. Rose.
I'll also know that a lot of blind and visually impaired persons are into music and stuff. Some of them like to build rhythm. Some of them like to play music, and there are softwares out there that you can access to do all these things. You have, on the side of being a DJ, you have a software that is called Mix, MIXXX, MIXXX. And this is a very accessible software where you can access your music and you can DJ. You can even go live, like play on websites, Facebook, wherever. There is virtual DJ, the good old virtual DJ. Now, virtual DJ by itself is not that accessible, but a couple friends of mine, one from Trinidad and another from England, they have made an accessible plugin that you can use with the virtual DJ in order to get it working for a blind and visually impaired person. Then, for those who would love to build their own rhythms, record their own songs, stuff like that, there is an app called Reaper, REAPER, and this app is very accessible. There's nothing that you can't do in Reaper when it comes to audio and music and even video production, right? So again, there's no reason for us to be left out of the loop. There's no reason for us to be sitting down and say, boy, we can't manage. There are stuff out there. You just need to do your research, find out from other persons, and let's get them move on. Let's show them that persons with disabilities can also and have also been making impact in this country.
Definitely so, Mr. Yeah, I'm giving a different name, Mr. Rose. But you know what, Mr. Rose, we have to work on that because important information just coming in, and I know you have to jump on board with this. Is the 2026 Special Olympics Caribbean Regional Beach Games. You know about that one, right?
I heard, yes.
Well, let me inform you that this regional beach games, Special Olympics, will be held right here in Montego Bay Harmony Beach Park, November 18 to 22. So you know, we have to get the ball rolling. So that training session, we have to punch it in before and make sure that you're down here for this event, right?
Definitely,
so
definitely.
This gives you a reason to come to Mobay.
That, yes, and I hope more FM can do a live broadcast so we can meet the team.
You don't have to ask. Come on, come on, Mr. Rose. We're gonna be there.
Okay.
This is a dream come true. Special Olympics Caribbean Regional Games coming to Montego Bay. Come on, Mr. Rose. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. This is it.
This is so true.
Yes,
this is so true. And on that note, I must say also over the holiday week, there was blind cricket in Jamaica.
What?
And yes, man, and it was live on PBCJ.
Wow.
And we got 8 hours of coverage. Now, as persons with disabilities, we don't regularly get these time. And it was a good show put on by the cricketers. And it is on YouTube. You can Google it. You can YouTube it, Blind Cricket in Jamaica, and I tell you, you will enjoy. If you even watch 15 minutes of it, you will love it.
Why? Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Rose. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and I will tell Mr. Blake the good news and tell him that he needs to be on more often, right?
No,
all right.
You need to be on more often.
Have yourself a great evening. This is Disability Beyond Borders, and we take the time out to salute all the pioneers, Mr. Rose, Mr. Blake, Mr. Simpson, Lawyer Anthony Williams, Damien Simpson, Annetta Reed, Miss Lloyd and Hilton, and all the other members of the team who have really channeled and done their part in making this a success. More FM, good evening.
Yeah.
All right, so we lost our caller there. All right, so Mr. Rose, have yourself a good one, and then we will keep in touch next week.
Thank you.
All right. So this is More 91.7 FM, the station that drives strong community energy, and we say adios until next week. Have yourself a great evening.
Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers through the power of inclusion. We highlight the incredible abilities and achievements of the disabled throughout Jamaica through our extraordinary talent exposure, mentoring, and uplifting corner with your host Tracy-Ann Williams and the radical Robert Blake. This and every Monday at 5 to 6 p.m. on More 91.